Now, Heather, I'm very interested in finding out how you got involved in this project or where the idea for this documentary came from.
Yes, well, I'd been studying documentary filmmaking on and off with short courses for about 10 years, and I decided I was going to stop and make a big film. I'd just arrived home from working overseas, and I heard about the announcement to the Pontville Detention Centre and actually saw the response at the public meeting where most people were opposed or strongly opposed. So I went, And then I looked in the media and I saw that a visitors group was also emerging just a couple of weeks later who wanted to welcome the asylum seekers. So there were these two polar responses in the community, and for a documentary filmmaker it seemed like the ideal place to start a story. So it just fell in my lap at the right time.
Because not only, it's very interesting that you got involved in documentary filmmaking, but the lead up to the point you are now is also rather intriguing. You've had a very interesting and varied career over the years.
Do you want me to elaborate on that?
I do, because it's very interesting.
I'm definitely haven't had a conventional career path, and I've worked on all 7 continents and seen a lot in my time and spent a lot of time in the developing world. So I have seen situations that refugees and asylum seekers escape from, and in fact I've worked as an emergency coordinator for relief work in those places. So I had a bit of background there, but look, I was always drawn to documentary filmmaking. I just think there's so many real stories out there, and they're fascinating. And Tassie's are just a wonderful place too for, coming out of a small island.
Yes.
But big picture stories, Yeah,
that have a wide-ranging impact.
Exactly.
Because we're often accused of being quite insular here in Tasmania, but once you scratch the surface, there are many and varied stories that just have not been told and really need to be.
Exactly. And so this film has actually attracted a lot of international attention too. It had its premiere in Adelaide at the Australian International Documentary Conference, and I had a lot of international interest because asylum seekers, what I call Islamophobia, etc., affect Western countries around the world in sort of these years.
I think in today's society it's a heck of a lot easier to be racist than non-racist in a lot of societies at the moment. Bury your head, stay at home. It's such an important thing, isn't it? I mean, I don't think we've got any understanding of what it must be like, because we're so happy in this country.
Lucky.
Lucky. We are. It is the lucky country, and if I was put in the other position, I'd swim my children here. It's all right to say to people, we've got to stop the boat people. But honestly, if it was my family in danger, I'd swim them to another country if it had to be. I mean, I welcome them with open arms. We've just got to get the systems in place.
Yes, and I think the thing I noticed was that because there aren't any media visits allowed to the detention centre, we're not actually hearing the stories of the asylum seekers once they're here. And often they come out and they're worried about speaking up will affect their family application or whatever, and they're not used to free press or freedom of speech. So I feel like this film actually fills a gap that hasn't been filled for Australians to sort of gain a bit more knowledge.
And to see it from an interesting point of view, as you say, two polar opposite reactions to what went on. And also in the film itself, having Mohammad there telling his side of the story and Mary telling her side of the story, there are ways for any viewer to identify with either and hopefully walk away from it with a much better understanding and maybe even having changed their opinions.
And I'm finding that people are actually coming out and telling me that. So, they may have been held the same views as Mary to begin with, but they see this journey. And I knew I couldn't make it a short film because it really needed a lot of deep unfolding of an issue. And we don't meet Mohammad till 50 minutes into the film, but we've heard his voice behind detention. So which is really, the Australian public don't even hear a voice of an asylum seeker. So I think a lot of people come away, and I've had emails bombarded with them ever since these premieres, and so many screening requests every week. So it's an important story.
How did you actually get permission to was it a difficult process to get permission to get access to Mohammad and also be able to tell this story?
Well, it's an interesting, as a filmmaker, I wasn't able to visit the detention centre, so I never recorded from, not being able to visit, I didn't have interviews or recordings or anything. But I met Mohammad when he came out of detention, and we could do an interview then and paste it back in time as you can in the film. So we get the chronology of what went on for him. So it's like a memoir in a way, but I put it in present tense so it flows easily with the audience.
So, Mohammed, how long were you in detention before you came out?
I have been 18 months in detention, different detention centres. I have been in 5 detention centres in Australia.
Okay. And so, 18 months now, what do you think of Australia?
Sorry?
Do you like Australia?
Yeah,
how does it feel here, you know?
Yeah, I feel here peaceful, and Australia is a peaceful country, and I'm proud of Australian.
Yeah, oh, well, we're proud to have you, mate. Let's hope you're here for a long time.
Now, as far as I'm aware, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, you're a member of the Hazara people?
Yeah.
And not only, and this became very obvious to people, there was a documentary on SBS, and a very strident racist, if I could say that, in Angry Anderson, who met people and completely changed his mind about refugees. And I'm just interested, Mohammad, in how you got here. Yes, you've had 18 months in detention, but what was your journey from being a young boy to deciding that you needed to find another country to live in?
I was a child. My father came from Afghanistan to Pakistan. I have been for a long time in Pakistan. So at that time, is too peaceful in Pakistan. We live together with Sunni people. We are Shia. We live together with Sunni people. I don't know from starting 10 years ago.
Wow.
It is starting killed Shia people, Hazara people killed in Afghanistan, in Pakistan also. That's when 2 of my elder brother killed by terrorists, because we are Shia and Hazara. That's when it's too dangerous if I stay in Pakistan. So it should kill me also, because I am supporter of my all family.
Yes.
That's where I save my life to come in Australia.
So how did you make the decision to come to Australia, and how did you get here? Did you have to go through official channels or unofficial channels?
Just when I sold my all business in Pakistan, I make some money for coming Australia. I thought a lot of time. Should I go or not? And there was my best friend. I asked from them. They suggestion me, give suggestion me if you go to, it's better for you and for your family.
So are you out here by yourself, Mohammad, or has your family joined you as yet, or what's the plan?
No, I came here by myself with help of people Simangla.
See, that's scary in itself. You're leaving something that may be dangerous but familiar, and making that amazing journey to a country you've never seen, and by yourself. I don't know too many people that would even move states with those circumstances. So it's quite a brave thing for you to do.
It's no anyway for me, because I want to save my life and for my family life. That's where I thought a lot of time. If I stay in Pakistan, they should kill me.
Yeah.
And that's when I take a risk.
Very
had
courageous.
A direct death threat, actually.
Oh,
Very
you're joking.
courageous.
So what happened there, Heather?
Well, Mohammed was saying after his 2 brothers were killed that they came and left a note in the family shop because they'd shot them in the shop. And they said, if you come back, we'll kill you next.
Oh, my Lord.
So...
Well, we're very, very glad to have you here, mate.
And you know, we often ask this question of people, had you had any understanding about a place called Tasmania? Did you know what to expect when you got to Tasmania?
It's too funny for everyone, or for me also. When I arrived in Christmas Island, I got a magazine. In the magazine, a lot of pictures of Tasmania. Tasmania is too beautiful. Then I thought I will, when I go free from detention, I will stay in Tasmania.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
how wonderful. Oh, that's amazing.
Best place on earth.
It is. It is.
I love Tasmania.
Oh, well, we love having you. And the beauty part is, as Heather's spoken about, is Mary, the other protagonist in this particular documentary. She has become something of a grandmother to you.
When I meet her, she talking. There's snatching my words. That's where we are struck magically.
And you've even, like, we see some stills from the documentary, and she's even taken you up to the fishing shack up on the Central Highlands, and there's a great photo of you having a bit of a fish. Did you catch anything?
No.
Oh.
Come on, Mohammad.
We
no
didn't.
fish. No fish.
No fish. We tried all day there, but
Oh, no.
Did you have to ask that question?
We'll have to buy you a chicken.
Maybe we can catch that. I don't know. Well, Mohammad, when you first got here, and Australians, we are a fairly accepting people, but often we can be a bit coloured by what we hear in the media. And as Heather's also said, we don't often hear the refugee side of the story. Did you find it tough being locked, effectively being kept in a detention centre? Because that's something we can't fathom. We see the fallout, we hear the reports of people hunger striking, that sort of thing. Do you get the support and everything that you need in that system to make your transition into a life like this easy, or do you find it tough to be behind a fence?
Do you understand the question? She's asking what it is like in detention.
In detention, a lot of minds, a lot of guys, different minds. Everyone, if I depressed also, I use antidepressant medication in detention because I have been for a long time in detention. If 3 months more keeping detention should be lose my all hope. Everyone depressed in detention because it's unlimited waiting. And if any criminal go to the jail, they knows about the timing when we go to release from the jail. But keep all refugee in detention without any timing. No one knows about timing. When go to release. It's
looking back now, Mohammad, was the 18-month in detention worth freedom in Australia?
Was it worth the suffering to have freedom now?
Was it worth suffering 18 months in the detention centre for freedom?
It's
You're free now?
I'm free now.
Citizen yet?
Permanent visa.
So eventually...
So
how long before you get citizenship?
Maybe 4 years.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
When I released me from detention, I stay for.
Is there a good support network available to you? Because once you come out of that sort of behind a fence and you come out of there and then suddenly you're let out as a free person, is that a hard adjustment to make as well? Is it hard to get used to being?
No, it's not too hard. It's independent countries. Everyone independent. What they do is.
What about sport? Do you like football?
I like cricket.
Oh, you cricket?
Yeah. Very nice. Can you play?
I played many times in Pakistan, but not here.
See, our cricket team's not very good at the moment, so maybe we could get you involved in that, because we need some strong batsmen. Now, Heather, what's next? I understand that, this documentary, if there are schools or there are interested community groups that do want to see it, they can actually talk to you about having a screening?
Yes, and I've actually already been doing some screenings with schools and other groups. So I'm not only putting it out in independent cinemas, and the better it does at the state cinema, the more others will pick it up nationwide, but about to approach them in a few weeks. but also people can host their own screening in their own community. I can forward them a copy.
Wow.
They can organise their own, speakers and screen, etc. And that's actually what a lot of independent filmmakers and things are doing these days.
Good idea.
And I don't like to disadvantage regional communities. Like
No.
if they've got somewhere they can hold it,
It'd be very
great.
nice to see it in Huonville, Franklin,
Exactly.
Geeston Community Hall, Signet Civic Centre.
Well, there you go. There's
And
a
I'm
job.
offering
Well,
60% on ticket sales for people's own fundraisers. I get less than they do, so, it can go back into a community benefit
or
of some sort.
towards, the cause.
Whatever,
Yeah.
I'm happy,
Yeah.
I think it gives people incentive to organise a night too if they can fundraise.
Very
so.
true. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure
Yeah, sure
to not only meet you, Heather, but definitely to meet you, Mohammad, and demystify, I suppose, the preconceptions that many people have about refugees, because we're all human beings. All we want is a safe place to live and a safe place to be and to feel welcomed. And I certainly hope that Tasmania's done that for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And one last thing now, Mohammed's a very good-looking young man.
Oh, here we go.
You're going to ask him if
Is
he's
there
available,
any
aren't
girls
you?
like,
Oh!
he's gone red.
You have to tell them.
Have you got a girlfriend, Mohammed?
No, I have a wife.
Sorry, mate. Well, that's good. So is your wife here?
No, in Pakistan with my family.
She will come over eventually? Or?
I'm doing the application for my family.
Oh, fantastic.
We've got all our fingers crossed for you, mate. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.